MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Tune in every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. for the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's third annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
When you live a tobacco-free life, you're free to live more fully. You're free to be more active and to breathe easier when you are, to be more present with family and friends, and to enjoy food and drinks more fully without nicotine dulling your senses. Tobacco-free can mean better physical health, mental health, and financial health. Giving up tobacco can give you more life. Learn more at quitnow.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired in association with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Step into the world of gymnastics with Nebraska women's gymnast and Canadian world team member Emma Spence.
She got a bronze in the all-arounder, bronze on beam. And who knows if she'll get another medal. But that was a very confident performance.
This is Beyond the Routine with Spence.
Hitting all her handstands, connecting all her release moves, and landing that dismount. That's Emma Spence for you.
Sponsored by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Routine. I'm your host, Emma Spence, and tonight I have a very special guest. Welcome to the show, Dr. Lawrence Chatters.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I did a little bit of research on the different titles that you have. So I'm going to name them off, and if I'm missing any, feel free to add them.
Okay.
So a doctor, a DJ, psychologist, yes, mentor, father, husband, Nebraska gymnastics hype man, yes, business owner, and radio show of The Law of Lift.
Wow.
Is there anything else?
Actually, I think you hit on most of them really well. I serve on a few boards and do a few things. I am a commissioner for the Nebraska Commission on African American Affairs. That's my newest title is commissioner. It's kind of a cool one. It reminds me of like Batman or something, but you know, commissioner's the newest one. But thank you for all of those, for your research there. That's great.
Of course. Yeah, you have so many cool things going for you, and I'm very excited to dive into them. Maybe let's start a little bit talking about your story.
Okay.
So what's your hometown? Where are you from?
So that's a tough question. So I actually grew up military. And so my dad was in the Air Force. And so I was actually born in New Mexico. But then by the time I was 13, I actually lived in North Carolina, Florida, and Germany.
Oh, wow.
And then ended up in Nebraska at the age of 13. And so I got here to Nebraska in like 1994. And, that was kind of my story starting in Nebraska. And I started high school here, went to high school here, did college, small town Fremont, not too far from here, and then came to Lincoln to do my master's degree in counseling psych, and was in Lincoln for a very long period of time. And so, it's kind of where, I finished up my PhD. My family moved out to Pennsylvania for a very short period of time. And then we came back. So I went to Penn State to do my postdoc and then came back to Nebraska to start my career. And that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah. So how long have you been living in Nebraska since?
So since we got back, it was 2018. And so we honestly, and this is the cool thing about Nebraska, Nebraska is like a really powerful place for me. It means a lot to me. This is where, of course, I met my wife, who happens to be in the studio with us today.
Yes.
Shout out to her.
Shout out Katie Chatters.
Yeah, she's in here. So that's where I met her, here in Nebraska. This is where I really kind of did my formative years in high school and college. And so we were only gone for 4 or 5 months.
Oh,
that's
wow.
like how long we left Nebraska. And then all of a sudden a wonderful opportunity came up and we came back to Nebraska. So I've been here since 94. So this would be 31 years this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It is a great place to be.
Yes. You're still here, right?
I'm still here.
Yes.
I came back too. Well, I mean, I never really left.
You never really left. Yeah.
But going on over 4 years now.
That's awesome.
Never would have thought that. So
yeah.
Good place. But yeah, so you touched on Katie a little bit. Talk about the rest of your family.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 2 daughters. Our oldest is a junior at UNL here, and she's wants to be a marketing major. And then our youngest is a senior at Elkhorn South High School up in Omaha. So, and she's actually, I think, driving down here right now because Elkhorn South is playing someone in football down here in Lincoln. And so that's a big step. So parents that are listening and, you have young drivers, it's always nerve wracking when they get on the interstate. But me and Katie drove down here earlier and the interstate was looking pretty good. So, so yeah, but those are the 2 kids. And we have a dog too named Cleo, a Portuguese water dog.
I didn't know you guys had a dog.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
You'll have to show me a picture after.
Yeah. Yeah. We love dogs. She's our second dog. We had another dog, Snowy, rest in peace, Snowy. She lived until 21 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. Wow. Cool. Talk about your doctorate a little bit. What were the steps in that? I don't know if this was accurate, but when I was doing some research, the dates were a little bit like spaced out from when you got your undergrad to your master's to your doctorate.
That's right.
So what was that process like?
So the process was honestly, so I finished my master's up in a couple years and that was very quick, and then got out, worked for a few years. When I got out and worked, I was wanting to get my licensure as a mental health practitioner. And that takes probably about 2 years working full time. And I worked at the state penitentiary to do that. So I was a licensed mental health practitioner back then. And while I was getting licensed and working in the state pen, I really thought, gosh, I really wouldn't mind going back to get my PhD. I longed for more education. And, I ended up going back to school in 2006 to get my PhD. That's when I started my program, but it took me a really long time because I was kind of like working part-time, going to school. So my PhD actually took me 12 years to get.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a very long program. Now, the standard PhD program for counseling psychology is usually anywhere between 6 to 7 years. Okay.
Oh, wow.
It takes a long time because there's a lot of work that you have to do. You have to write your dissertation. You have to take an entire year to go on internship and work, in an APA accredited place. But I kind of took the long route. And so that's why there's like a gap in there. So 2006 to 2018 is kind of the years that I finished up my PhD in counseling psych. And that's what my PhD is in. It's in counseling psychology. I mean, I love being a counseling psychologist. It is a specific field. My counseling psychology doctorate was specifically focused on community counseling, really. And I had a specialization in working with diverse clients and, really focusing on underserved populations. So I worked with a lot of adolescents while I was going through my program, did a lot of programming and grant writing and supportive programs that supported the youth, and specifically at-risk youth that struggle, that never really get a chance to work with a clinician. And just doing a lot of program creation and stuff like that. So I did a lot during my PhD program. I taught a class. I worked at the Women's Center back when that was an opportunity. Worked with basically helping men better understand their role in supporting women through the movements and different things like that. I did teach a class. I worked in athletics even back when I was in my PhD program for about 3 years.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was just as an intern for the Big Ten conference. And so
Okay.
that's where I first actually got introduced to athletics was when I was in my PhD program. I worked within the life skills department with Keith Zimmer.
Really?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
never knew that.
Yeah. So that was kind of like, I actually have a total of about 6 years in athletics, but that was my first step into this space
Okay.
and really where, I started to basically utilize my skills as a clinician in training to work with athletes. And we were doing a lot of work together on building some different groups and things like that at the time. That was like 2014 to 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Do you still do any counseling?
I
do you have
don't.
any-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when I first came back to Nebraska, I was a vice president for student affairs at Midland University in Fremont, and I was still trying to pursue licensure. As a
Okay.
psychologist, you have to do a certain amount of hours. You have to sit for an exam. That's a very tough exam. And then you also have to take a jurisprudence exam as well. And so the hours you need, it literally takes you about a year and a half working full time, seeing clients full time for about a year and a half to get to those hours. And so I could not do that as well as work a full time job. I tried, I tried to do everything. I always try
Yeah.
to do everything. I'm a maximizer, but
Yes.
that was just really tough. So I'd go to Fremont in the morning, and Katie remembers these days. And I'd leave Fremont. I drive to the south side of Lincoln to go do some counseling for about 3 hours. And then I drive home to Omaha.
Oh my goodness.
So it just wasn't sustainable. And so
Mhm.
I kind of decided after, I was VP for student affairs, and then I got the job at Nebraska working as an executive there. I just decided, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do this practice thing, but my licensure is still there. And if
Mhm.
I ever want to go and dust it off and continue to work and practice, I can. So that's the great part about it too.
That is really cool. And that kind of leads me to how we ended up getting connected in the first place was
Yes.
when you were working with the Nebraska gymnastics team.
Yes.
That was really cool. And like we'll touch on that. But specifically with me, I feel like when we would have conversations, I could tell that you had that knowledge based on like the ways that we were interacting. And I thought that that was really beneficial. Just like getting that perspective from someone that wasn't necessarily like your title wasn't like a psychologist for the team or anything like that. But
Right.
just like I could just tell that the knowledge and the way that you were just like talking through things with me was so beneficial.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And that's really what I tried to be to all of my student athletes and all the student athletes
Mhm.
that I got to know in the department was just, I'm listening always from that perspective as a psychologist, a counseling psychologist, and
Mhm.
I interact with people in that way. And so, we'd always have these great discussions about kind of what your goals and objectives were. And then all of a sudden we'd start talking about, things that were a little deeper when it came to like, how are you
Mhm.
going to make some changes and what types of things are you going to do? Because that's just the direction that my mind goes in, right? When it comes to some of that stuff and providing support and seeing that you all in some cases would be dealing with some additional challenges and stuff and just wanting to like, hey, let's sit down and talk this out so we can
Mhm.
kind of help you get through it. And the student athletes like yourself who are very elite in your craft and want to try to continuously improve yourself, you're open to that type of feedback, which was great.
Yeah, and like some of the questions that you would ask me, I really had to think about, and it was just a different perspective that I wasn't really used to thinking in, which was really beneficial. Something else that was really cool is that at one point, actually, no, let's touch on your work with the Nebraska gymnastics team.
Excellent.
Yes. So, what was your role? What did you do from your perspective? Because I'll share my perspective and how it impacted us
Oh,
afterwards.
that's awesome. So, what I'll tell everyone out there is if you're not familiar with Division One athletics, basically every team has what's called a sport administrator. And that sport administrator is a person within the staff of the athletic department that supports the coaches, whether it be if they need to make any hires, whether there's any challenges that come up with student athletes. And, really that sport administrator is there to administrate. They're there to handle all the kind of paper pushing that needs to happen for that team to stay eligible and to continue competing. And so, that was kind of the what the job description said. Now, what I
Mhm.
actually did was different from that. I did all the paper pushing stuff and handled that, but that was very low level minimum for me. I tried to really be there for my coaches. Actually had Coach Brink on my show. I don't know if you knew that,
I didn't know
but you'll
that.
have to
I'll
listen to
have
that
go,
one.
yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have to check it
it's
out.
really good. But I tried to be there for my coaches, and I tried to be visible for the student athletes to make sure that
Mhm.
they knew, hey, I care about what you all do. I really appreciate what you all do, and I'm going to be here to support you all. So
I love that. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really fully know the technical side of things, but you definitely made us feel very valued and seen, which was something that was very special. And like I mentioned in your little intro, you were definitely our hype man. Um, when we were struggling in practice, sometimes you'd walk in, you give us a little pep talk or a speech, or early morning practice during the holidays, you'd show up and you would DJ for us during warm up or warm up of our meets and stuff like that. And I remember senior night too.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. You were DJing that. So I think the work that you did with us on the team impacted a lot of us probably more than you realized from a side that wasn't just technical, which is really cool.
I really appreciate you saying that because, for me, I always looked at it like, if you all knew how much I appreciated you all as student athletes and I saw how hard you worked and you all, when I was participating and working with these different teams, I had no idea how much work and time and effort it took that went into these young student athletes that were just doing so many things. I mean, this is just one piece of it. Then they're going to class and then they have family stuff and then they have all the rest of it. And so I just so appreciated your level of commitment, your level of follow through, the work ethic that I saw, that I said, I'm going to do that same thing. I'm not just going to do the minimum. I'm going to push myself. That's what we ask our student athletes to do. We ask you all to push yourselves and be excellent. I'm going to be an excellent administrator. So that's what I tried to do. And I appreciate hearing the other side of it.
Yeah, for sure. And there was even a time, I think it was one of our meets in Iowa, and you and Katie drove down to come watch us.
Yeah.
Like, you guys weren't on the bus. We didn't know that you were going to be there. And all of a sudden we walk into the arena and you guys are there on the floor with us.
Yeah.
Like, that was so special.
Yeah. And that was always a joy for me. And fortunately, since, again, my wife is here in the studio, she really enjoyed gymnastics and participated in gymnastics growing up. And so I definitely had someone who was always willing to go to those meets with me and explain a lot of stuff to me. And we just truly enjoyed it. And again, that was just an extra layer of the positivity for me, was just always being there to support you all, because I recognized and I saw some of the injuries and I saw the challenges, right? And I really wanted to know everything I could possibly know about the sport so I could understand it and then support you all to the best of my ability.
Yeah, no, that was so special. And then specifically the impact that you and Katie have had on me as like mentors in my life, I feel like throughout the last couple years has been really incredible too, especially because I don't really have parents in the US right now. Like, I mean, I have parents in Canada, but like in the US, I don't really have that like a lot of my other teammates do. So being able to have some of those conversations with you guys, like I remember there were times where I would text you and be like, I'm struggling right now. Is it okay if I like stop by and we have a conversation about it? And I guess that's maybe when the psychology side kind of kicked in as well, but just being able to kind of open up and express some of those struggles and then receive like valuable feedback that was beneficial in more aspects of my life than just like the gymnastics side of it.
Yeah. And again, that's that extra level of support and that, being available, because I know it's hard as an athlete to have so much on your plate and then not really have anybody to talk to non-judgmentally.
Yes.
Right. That's the thing. It's like, you're going to step into my office and you're going to get all the skills that I have as a counseling psychologist, but you're also going to get the discernment of, I recognize how difficult it is for you to kind of step forward sometimes and say, you know what, I just need to talk through this challenging issue that I'm having. And so I was fortunate in my role that I got the chance to do that for you and a number of other student athletes in a really positive way. And what was always surprising to me is just seeing how accepting you were of that feedback, just like in coaching, right? Like you hear the feedback, you incorporate it, and you confidently go in that direction. And so that was always great to see, you take that advice and really put it into play.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I remember there was one time where I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I was like, I graduate soon and I have no idea. And I remember you gave me a quiz to do. And then based on the quiz, we were talking through the different jobs that you think I'd be good at or that I'd enjoy. And then I ended up job shadowing, talking to Katie at work for one of the days. I think it was probably earlier this week, or not this week, this year. Yeah, trying to figure out ideas on what to do.
Yes.
So that guidance was really appreciated as well from both of you.
Yeah. That's awesome. And it's nice to have people who, appreciate what you do and are thinking about, okay, what is that next step for you, right? And helping you find your way down that path.
And now, which I think is kind of cool, which is why I was so excited to tell you that I've started my master's in counseling, because that's kind of similar to what you've done.
Yes.
Which I didn't even think about it until I was like thinking about different notes and things to talk about during the show. I was like, wait, I haven't told you that before. And that's something that you're pretty well versed in.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to hear that because I know how much you've opened up about, previous challenges that you've had in those areas. And I think that you're a great ambassador not only for the sport, but also for the importance of reducing the stigma of talking about mental health. I think that's become more common in gymnastics, and there's been some recent things that have happened that have opened that up a lot more. But I think you would be a great person in that field. And I'm not sure why we never talked about it, but
Yeah,
I
I
think,
didn't even think of it.
just, yeah. So I'm just so happy to hear that you're going in that direction, because I know just how impactful you can be in that space. So that's amazing.
Thank you. Do you have any tips of going into my master's? I started like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, my tips would be that first of all, you're going to learn a lot about the field, but you're also going to learn about yourself in this
That's
process.
what I've been noticing
And
already.
seriously, like going through a counseling program is really like going through your own introspective journey into why you're choosing that field first and foremost, because you kind of have to have a connection to it. You have to have a desire to want to go in that direction, and you learn so much about yourself. And what you realize is that we have the ability to motivate each other. And once you start to kind of dig into some of the stuff about, your own personal journey and why you are, want to be a part of the field, I just think it's such a eye-opening experience. And I had that through my process, was just like, okay, this is who I am. I didn't realize that, right? You kind of get a chance to learn about all the different, personalities and all the different assessments and everything else. It's just really compelling to learn that information and understand better human behavior and the context that all the different things around a person can have.
Yeah, for sure. And if you don't mind sharing, what's a reason that kind of led you to doing that?
Wow, that's a great question. I just always wanted to help people. That was kind of from a very young age. I just wanted to be a helper. And what I would say is that to help someone actually overcome significant depression or other challenges, and actually be in that space with them and actually talk them through that, through their own realization that they're capable of doing that, there's just nothing like that. And what I started to realize too, when I got into my program, was just that my perspective was very unique, and being able to sit down with a wide range of people and just understand information, analyze it, reflect it to them, like that's just something that I was good at. That's kind of something that my brain is good at. And so I ended up really wanting to help people. I ended up choosing a field that really put me into a space where I could learn a lot of information and then help people through their challenges. It was just the perfect place for me.
I love that. That's so special. Okay, shifting gears a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you get into DJing? I know it's a completely different topic,
yeah,
but
it's like
it's
psychology,
a pretty cool
DJing.
thing.
Yeah. So I got into DJing when I was in high school. And, it's just kind of really neat to start that process of learning a lot about music. I love to collect things. And so I collected a lot of music. And then I started being asked to play that music at parties. And so that really blew up for me in college. And then I just kept growing in my knowledge of music and understanding it. And so that's kind of how I started.
That's awesome. And I might bring that back up again, but we're going to head into our first break. You'll be right back. You're listening to Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence and Dr. Lawrence Chatters.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Acres Fall John Deere Super Sale event is underway. Our complete inventory of John Deere equipment is marked down to sell. From large ag equipment to compact tractors and gators, Acres has something for everyone. And don't miss our State Fair Harvest Days parts and merchandise sale in Grand Island. Special in-store discounts and incentives are available. Visit our Grand Island location at 4050 West Stawley Park Road and see what Acres has to offer. Visit acres.com for all the details. Offer ends September 13th, 2025.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, where your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Tune in every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. for the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Sit back and enjoy listening to Dr. Chatters discuss real stories involving struggle, inspiration, and real-life experiences with special guests and insights. Remember, the higher the pressure, the greater the lift. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through September 16th are $1 off ready-to-eat meals, 20% off all pasta, and 8-ounce grass-fed, grass-finished sirloins for $9 each. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Hey racing fans, this is Brie Marie inviting you to join me and James Rowland for the Finish Line every Sunday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Catch up with the local dirt track drivers, national racers, and everyone you need to know about in the world of racing. Don't spin your wheels, hit the gas, and join us Sundays at 7 p.m. for the Finish Line on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Hi, I'm Casey Oddie, and I'm the Retail Banking Manager at your local Midwest Bank branch on 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Banking may be my job, but supporting the community is what I care most about. Whether I'm showing up at local events, partnering with schools, or helping people reach financial milestones, I am proud to be a part of what makes Lincoln strong. Let's build something together. Stop by and say hi. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe, loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day, Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
Welcome back to Beyond the Routine. I'm your host, Emma Spence, and my special guest here tonight is Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Welcome back.
Thank you. Let's talk about this music that's playing right now. So this is like straight up country music,
Yes.
right? Are you a big country fan?
Of course. And it was so funny because they were like, what kind of music do you want? And I was like, I don't know. I only listen to country music. Like, I don't know. And they're like, we can work with that. Okay.
That's awesome. So
Here
yeah,
we
I
are.
mean, I just like listen to it. I'm like, man, this is very twangy country music. I thought, Canada, Shania Twain, right?
That's right.
From Canada.
That's right.
I don't know what other Canadian big artists, any other big Canadian country artists that have made it in the U.S.?
Ooh, I don't know. Have you heard of Dean Brody before? That's probably.
I don't think so. No,
I don't know.
I'm not
I'm
like
trying to think of.
Yeah.
You know of any?
I'm not a big country guy at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I'd have
so
to think about. I'd probably have to do some research on it because, like, for me, I can't tell where they're from Canada or not.
I see. Okay. But yeah, I was just like,
it.
I mean, I heard the music and I was just like, I didn't know you were so into country music that you'd have it on your intro.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I like it though. It's good.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely different.
Absolutely.
So the next thing I wanted to touch on is you are probably the most positive, encouraging, uplifting person that I know.
Wow.
Where does that come from?
Oh my goodness. That's an amazing question. So, for me, it comes from when I was growing up, I had a lot of questions about myself, like introspective questions. And I had those deep questions, existential questions that I grew up with. And it was a lot of negativity. Like when I was growing up, I have a disability. So I was born legally blind. And so I was also born with a condition called albinism, which, it impacts my skin and my eyes and all this other stuff. And so when I was growing up, I always felt very incomplete and I felt like I didn't belong. And so I struggled with that a lot. And, there was a point in my life that I can remember it was like my freshman year of high school that I kind of made this shift. And I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore how weird I am. I'm going to be positive. And what I recognize is that by being positive, I was able to attract a lot of friends. By being positive, I was able to like feel really good about myself. And there was like this shift that happened. And I started working even harder. I just put myself out there because I used to be extremely shy, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I would just like, because I didn't think I could really do a lot of things that, quote unquote, people that had normal vision or didn't have some of the challenges that I had. I didn't think I could do those things. So I was super nervous and shy. But then when I started putting myself out there, I realized that sometimes it's just a matter of trying and you can do it. And sometimes nobody else wants to try it. And so you end up being there and you can get great opportunities. And if you talk to people, and so I just started being like super outgoing and I didn't care about my disability anymore. And I was just like, I'm just going to be positive. And that led to like so many positive things in my life. And so now, regardless of, what my challenges are, I try to be positive. And through, honestly, what was really cool, and you'll find this as you start going through some of your theory courses and stuff in your counseling program, one of the theories that really aligned with my worldview was the humanist perspective. So being person-centered. So Carl Rogers has this ideal of, how we see our clients. And he has this thing called unconditional positive regard, which is just like, I don't care what you've got going on. I still think that you are a aspiring person and that you want to do positive things and you want to be a good person. That is his whole theory. It's called person-centered. And it's a humanist perspective. So when I first started learning about that in counseling, I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally me. So I leaned into that theoretical orientation. That's the type of counseling psychologist that I was. And it just became a part of my life. And so what I've recognized is that by being very positive and consistently keeping that positivity at the forefront of my life, things continue to go really well, you know? And even when I don't necessarily feel good, that doesn't stop me from a smile or connecting with people. I just know so many people. I just always have someone who would be willing to lift me up and, everybody believes that. And I'll just put it this way. Everybody believes that, I know them and that, I care for them. That's what everybody believes. And it's true.
It is true.
But at the same time, like it's kind of one of those things that's just the way that I move through the world. Right. So even if I don't know you that well, you would probably tell and not you, but whoever else would probably tell someone he really likes me.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because that's just how positive of a person I am.
Yes.
You're not going to get me on a bad day when you're going to get a bad attitude or anything. That's just not who I am.
Yeah, that is so powerful, by the way. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have any, I don't know if like tips is a good word, but like advice for someone listening that feels like they are kind of stuck in that negative loop?
Yeah,
what are
absolutely.
like small steps to get out of that?
Small steps to get out of it. That's a great question. And honestly, you all, I think that, when we're talking about dealing with a pretty significant feeling of depression or you're struggling through something, you really have to kind of start to shift your perspective first and foremost. Like we have to understand that whatever we think is what we will be, right? So if you consistently stay on that negative side of things, what happens is that negativity actually manifests, it continues to manifest, and it multiplies. So, and unfortunately, and this is where I'm just kind of bringing in technology too, when we're kind of stuck in some of those spaces, we start to scroll and we start to see more negative stuff. And then we just start to go deeper into that space, right? And then our brain can't necessarily remove us from that. And so one of the first things I'll tell you to do if you're really struggling with that is watch what you're watching, okay? Watch what you're watching. Like you kind of have to take a step back and say, goodness gracious, I've probably had 3 or 4 negative stories pop up in my feed. I've got all this stuff going on around me that's not good. And if you're feeling negative, that stuff is just going to like really feel like it's supposed to be there, right? Like, yep, that's right. Somebody else is having a bad day. Somebody else tripped and fell on their face just like I did, right? Like we kind of have a tendency to kind of bias toward that negative stuff. So watch what you're watching first and foremost. The second thing that you have to do is you have to be willing to change your perspective, okay? You have to have hope. One of the biggest things that can kind of move us forward when we're dealing with some of these issues is hope. I can feel better. I will feel better, right? Some of these thoughts about the future. Hope is just kind of this great grand perspective of what the future could possibly be. So you have to start instilling that hope in your own mind. Like, you know what? Right now it's not good, but that doesn't mean that next hour can't be better, right? So you have to start kind of thinking through and being more hopeful. And then you start to try to focus on the positive things, okay? You know what? I actually did better than I thought I was going to do on that particular thing. You know what? That interaction wasn't as awkward as I thought it was. I think it was okay. Oh, you know what? That person actually reached back out to me that I was trying to make a social connection with. Start to focus on those positive things. And then the same way that the negative multiplies, the positive is going to start multiplying. And then when you have the positivity, you start to get yourself feeling that sense of hope, like I can do this, right? And you watch what you're watching so that hopefully you're starting to look at some more positive things. By the way, the algorithm works the other way too. If you start looking for really positive, silly stuff that can make you laugh and feel a little better and kind of take the light, take that heaviness off of you, it's going to start to multiply too, right? So you start to watch the positive stuff, you feel the hope, then all of a sudden you change your perspective and you start thinking, I'm moving in the right direction.
Yep.
And then the last thing you have to do is celebrate.
Mhm.
Okay, I did that. I was able to do that. Or, man, that was awesome that I was capable of doing that. Pat yourself on the back, right? And seek other people in those moments that can lift you up too. Okay, whether that be your family, reaching out, talking to the people who really care for you and love you, you have to reach out to those people and allow them to be there with you in that moment so that they can lift you up. Because we all need a pep talk here and there, right?
For sure.
Sometimes it's really hard to talk ourselves out of the negative voice in our head, but reach out to those positive people in your life. And if none of that works, seek help.
Yes.
Okay, don't be afraid to seek out some counseling, some therapy, get some support. There's many different ways to do that. There's virtual meetings that you can do now. You can get counseling pretty much anywhere you are now, right?
Yeah.
It's very available. So get the help that you need if you still do all those things and you still can't find your way out of it.
I love that. Those are some really good messages too. Very powerful stuff you've got going on my show tonight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So like I mentioned at the beginning, you have so many titles. How do you manage all of those while also maintaining and keeping a good life balance?
Yeah, so that's that's one of the most challenging questions that I ever get, because I would say that I don't necessarily have a balance in my life. I have committed myself to doing really positive things, and so I do a lot of service, and I'm always going somewhere. I sit on a few different boards. I serve in a few different capacities. I'm always, just yesterday I came down just to meet with a mentee of mine that's in college here at UNL. And then it's just like, there's really, I have a lot of capacity. I'll just put it that way. And one of the things that helps with that capacity is having a great partner in life, right? Someone who understands, hey, this is the kind of person you are. This is how you're at your happiest. And so I'm going to support that. And, now I actually work remote, which I never thought I would do. And so working remote, it allows me to have a lot more capacity, which I never thought I could have more capacity. But I always try to fill that capacity, right? So if I have extra space, I'm going to try to fill it with something, and I'm going to try to do something positive. Earlier this week, actually, yesterday was the second day that I came back to Lincoln. Earlier this week, I came down to train some barbers in this mentoring program that the nonprofit that I'm the president of has, that we're getting ready to start doing some work in some of the schools. And so I came down to train barbers to be mentors that are going to connect with middle schoolers. So I'm always doing something else, but it's just, so again, the balance for me is keeping myself busy enough to not feel like I'm not making a substantial contribution to society, I guess, and having a great partner. We just celebrated our 21-year anniversary, believe it or not. If you're watching on the live screen and you don't see my wife over here, she looks like she's only 25, but we have been married for 21 years, and we didn't get married when she was 4. So, but 21 years of a great relationship and very powerful, bond, and just having people who are supportive in your life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And yes, and it was just your birthday. Like, it was just Katie's birthday the other day as well. So happy belated birthday. Another shout out for Katie. But on that note, we are going to be heading to our final break. We'll be right back. You are listening to Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence and Dr. Lawrence Chatters.
Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red. Eat at Amigos and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor, and we want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to SmokingGunJerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red. Eat at Amigos and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your big red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor, and we want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
Welcome back to Beyond the Routine. I'm your host, Emma Spence, with my special guest here tonight, Dr. Lawrence Chatters. For this last segment, I wanted to briefly touch on what's next. Do you have any big projects coming up? Anything you're specifically excited about in the future?
Yeah, so what's next? That's a great question. And, you know, one of the big new projects that, and we'll talk about this a little later, that I have is a radio show called The Law of Lift that's on 93.7 The Ticket. Have a really special guest coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that next. But you know, that radio show has been really fun for me. I get to tell people stories, inspirational stories, like kind of like you were talking about earlier, being positive and helping people figure out how they can kind of get out of some of these challenging times in their life. That's really the essence of that show. And so that's really been like this perfect intersection of kind of like my personal objectives in life, which are to lift other people up, my professional objective in life, which is to be a good person who helps folks work through things, you know, from that clinical perspective. But these are just stories of like people that are, you know, from all over who overcome adversity. And I'm a big fan of aeronautical stuff. And so it's called The Law of Lift because this concept of lift is that once you're going fast enough and you have kind of like all these different forces acting on you, you lift up. And that's the way I see life, is that you do the little things, you kind of get some momentum, you start going faster. Like I was telling you earlier, those other people around you start to really rally around you and support you. And the next thing you know, you've lifted out of this tough feeling that you're going through, right? So there's kind of like some flight components to it. But that's one of the big projects that I'm working on. I work for 2 different nonprofits. So I'm the chair of the Nebraska Children and Families Foundation. That is like a very large supporter of children across the state of Nebraska. That's been great for me because they do so many things across the state of Nebraska, things that people don't even know about, but they utilize public-private funds to help support children and families across the state. I'm the president of another nonprofit called Visionary Youth. We do 3 big events every year. We do a back-to-school free haircut and backpack event. We do like an event around Thanksgiving where we give away free turkeys. Last year, we gave away like 1,200 turkeys, which was awesome. Like, you know,
that is crazy.
Really cool numbers. And then around the holidays, we do a toy giveaway. And then we started this new program, which is like called the Mentoring and New Dimensions program. It's where we have a 35-foot bus with 4 barber chairs on it. Young people come onto that bus. They get mentoring from their barbers. They also have a professional counselor that comes on and does an hour of counseling with them. And it's a 10-week program that we've rolled out into Lincoln Public Schools and other areas across the city. And so that's kind of another passion project of mine. And yeah, just that's just a few of those things, I guess.
Just a few.
Yeah.
Wow. I was curious about how you got that name of your show. So that makes sense.
Yes. So The Law of Lift, and it is an odd name, but it's just kind of like this concept of how exactly do people find their way out of a challenging situation? How do you lift up, and how do you maintain flight once you do get up? And what you find is that once people recognize that, you know, running against the wind, if you spread your wings, you'll fly. Metaphorically, you know, it's just kind of one of those things. It's like, wait a minute, these adversities I've experienced in my life are going to actually lead me to lifting up and moving somewhere else and getting out of this place where I am. That's what I experienced that freshman year that I was telling you about of high school, was just, you just keep doing the little things, putting one foot in front of the other, doing things, you know, these little micro things that you change in your life. And the next thing you know, you look back and you're like, man, I can't even believe that that's where I was.
Wow. That's incredible. I love that. The way of thinking about it like that. That's awesome. All right. Do you want to touch on your Sunday show?
Yes. So this Sunday on The Law of Lift right here on 93.7 The Ticket from 3 to 5 p.m., I'm going to have Emma Spence on my show. And so we had a show swap where I'm going to be on her show. She's going to be on my show this week. And I get to ask her the questions. I get to ask her about how she was so excellent in what she did and how she continues to be excellent in what she does now, what gymnastics taught her. I get to ask her a lot of different things this weekend. It's a 2-hour show, you guys. So if you want to hear more, It's the Law of Lift on 93.7 The Ticket. And Emma, thank you so much for the invitation. This has just been amazing. You've asked some amazing questions, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to be a guest on your show.
Of course. I really, really appreciate you being on here. Shared so many great things for the listeners. And yeah, I'm very excited to continue the conversation on Sunday. So don't forget to tune in. The Law of Lift from 3 to 5 p.m. But on that note, that's a wrap. You are listening to Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence and Dr. Lawrence Chatters.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your